We get it. After you've been in an accident, you deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine, as always, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. And listen, I tell you every single week, every single day of every single week on this show, how amazing the Advocates are. This is the week that they need your help. Let's get them a push for their blood drive. It's next Monday in their Salt Lake City office, but that doesn't mean you can't contribute. Anywhere you listen to the show, get to the redcross.org, schedule your blood donation, and use the sponsor code ADVOCATESSLC. ADVOCATESSLC, hit it. Blood drives, blood donations are so important in our community, and I know that we ask a lot, and you guys are probably tired of everybody hitting you from every direction. But blood donations are nothing to overlook. And the Advocates do it really, really well. For all of our Utahns that listen to this show, for everybody that's in Salt Lake City, get to the Red Cross, redcross.org. Sponsor code, ADVOCATESSLC. Hook it up. Let's get it done for the Advocates. They do a great job supporting this show. So we are always trying to help them. And just a couple of stats that I want to read to you. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs a blood or plasma transfusion. Every 2 seconds. Blood donations are most commonly used to help accident, surgery patients, and people with sickle cell disease and those undergoing chemotherapy. Think about that. A single car accident victim can require up to 100 units of blood. Only 3% of eligible blood donors actually donate blood each year. Come on now. Let's get it done. All you have to do is go to redcrossblood.org, redcrossblood.org. The donation bus will be at the Murray office of the Advocates on Monday from 1 to 7. Donate. They're going to have great snacks. They're going to be giving away gift cards. It's amazing what the Advocates do, the impact they have in our community. Hook it up. redcrossblood.org. Sponsor code ADVOCATESSLC. ADVOCATESSLC for the sponsor code. And what you do is you go to redcrossblood.org, find a drive is what you click, and then enter the sponsor code ADVOCATESSLC, and you're good to go. At redcrossblood.org. Good morning to everybody that's in the show this morning. Mike Smith, Mountain Mama. It's been quite the derby the last few weeks to get the first comment.
Seriously, it's been heated competition.
Good to see you, Mike. Appreciate it. Little Jizzy, good morning to you. Pete Forte, OG Gary, as the college football world burns and stuff. So, y'all. Good to see you, Gary. And yeah, how about the Big Ten and the SEC getting their payday as ESPN's Heather Dinich, who I tell you all the time, does a great job on college football. If you do not follow her on Twitter, you should. Heather Dinich has exclusive reporting over the last, really, it's been 6-8 weeks. But Heather Dinich now is reporting that a financial structure has essentially been agreed to amongst the power players of college football and really the college football playoff. The backstory on this is we have been telling you, ESPN has been pressuring the College Football Playoff Committee to approve the contract that is on the table to extend the college football playoff. Now, there has been a hesitation to do that because the SEC and the Big Ten have been threatening to take their ball and go make this God tier if they do not get the financial resources that they are demanding. And it looks like the rest of college football, including the Big 12 and the ACC, have acquiesced to those demands. And it now appears that the Big Ten and the ACC, according to Heather Dinich at ESPN, is looking at between 25 and 30% of the total college football playoff revenue. And I thought it was very interesting this morning in our pre-show meeting. Jake made the point. Greg Sankey made the point. And Jake reiterated the point that Greg Sankey had pointed out in making his point that the SEC has provided fully 40% of the teams for the college football playoff over its existence. He makes a pretty strong case, and apparently a lot of people agree with him because it looks like the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get 25 to 30% of the revenue annually in the college football playoff. Jake, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that it's hard to dispute what the SEC has done, and obviously the Big Ten, following right on their heels in terms of the college football playoff, and just how dominant they've been. But I think what's really interesting is when you start looking at percentages and who's making what, and our current system versus what this new system looks like. Just in generality, right now what was the Power Five was making about 20% each. They were each getting about 20% of the total revenue, and obviously that equals 100%. And then, of course, the G5s were getting a small slice of the pie, so it winds up being like 98% and then 2%, whatever. But now in the new system, you're talking about the SEC and the Big Ten wanting to add an additional 5 to 10% on top of what they were already getting, which may not seem like a lot, right? Go to the grocery store, they discount something 10%. You're like, yeah, dude, that's like $2. Who cares? But in this model, when we're talking about $1.3 billion being proposed over the life of this 6-year agreement that they're trying to get done, that's a lot of bread, dude. You're essentially going from, making $2 million a year per team in your conference to $4 million a year per team in your conference in the SEC and the Big Ten. So when you think about the fact that the SEC's delivered 40% of the college football playoff teams, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of leverage over the conversation. So to me, I look at this situation and I say, this is exactly what we've been discussing. We've been telling you that the SEC, and specifically Greg Sankey, has been wielding this hammer of sorts to say, hey, we've done the winning, we deserve the lion's share. To which the G5 has said, hey, yeah, we don't necessarily disagree on that, but we're also getting screwed in this new model, right? We're also seeing a tiny little bump in money. We're not seeing, 10%. And so to me, this just comes down to the fact that it's going to be the SEC and the Big Ten making the money, getting the most access, and there's not anything anybody can do about that. Like we said, I believe yesterday or the day before, it's not if this is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just how you want it to happen. As I always say, you're not going to stop anything. It's only about how you want to get piped. And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that. I think that, that nobody's getting screwed here. I agree. And I think we've talked about this at length on the show. The Big Ten and the SEC deliver the biggest TV audiences. It's hard to argue with that. And you add, Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA to the Big Ten. It's hard to argue with that. You add Texas and Oklahoma. It's hard to argue with that. You have the biggest and the most successful brands in college sports, and really college football in this conversation specifically. You have those most successful brands in the Big Ten and the SEC. I agree that they deserve more money, but we're talking about up to 30%. And you got to ask yourself, well, if they're each getting that kind of money, if they're each getting, 30%, 60% in total, what does that leave for the Big 12 and the ACC? My guess is, and according to reports, the Big 12 and the ACC are looking at 15 to 20% of total revenue, and to which I say that's not a whole lot of money in comparison. And we go back to this obsession that Brett Yormark has with building a business model in college basketball, and now it makes complete sense. And again, what have I been telling you about college basketball? The NCAA tournament is going to be expanded. And if you do not believe that that is coming, I think you're out of your mind, because it is truly the only way that the Big 12 and the ACC can be on a level playing field, if that's even possible, once these agreements are signed. I don't know that it's possible, but I think the only way to make that even close is to have an expanded NCAA tournament. And you look at basketball, specifically in the Big Ten, you're looking at a very weak basketball conference. And take Michigan to account for that, who we're going to talk about in a minute. Michigan basketball is an absolute disaster. One of your biggest brands is not currently relevant in college basketball. That's a problem. And you really look at expansion with Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. 3 out of 4 of those brands are not relevant in college basketball, and UCLA is only occasionally relevant. The Big Ten did not address its weakness in college basketball, and I think that is a place where the Big 12 and the ACC can really make inroads, because it's awfully difficult to argue that the Big 12 and the ACC are not the 2 best. It's not even a conversation. If I'm Brett Yormark, I am demanding that the college basketball tournament, the NCAA tournament, get expanded. You have to have it. It is the only way that you can add money to your pot and that you can win those shares by advancing deeper and deeper into the tournament. If I'm the G5, I am demanding that the NCAA tournament be expanded, because, again, it is a revenue stream that, to a lesser extent, the SEC, but to a significant extent, the Big Ten is not able to tap into. So why would you not try to monopolize that revenue stream when they're going to take up to 60% of the revenue from the college football playoff? And I think that while that may be justified in football, you have to find a way to offset that. There's no other way to go about this. And again, I go back to this idea about the power that ESPN and Disney wield in college athletics. And I think it is significant. And I know this is always controversial, and I know people always get upset when we talk about this, but how many times do I have to sit on this show and tell you, when I talk to people in the college, football world, and I talk to people in the TV industry, and that's just about every day that I talk to somebody about this particular situation, it's simply a matter of how this college football playoff extension gets done and what the structure of it looks like. Do you understand that they're not even talking structure at this point? They're talking money, because if the Big Ten and the SEC get 25 to 30% of this revenue, which I think is done, if that happens, it almost doesn't matter how many playoff spots you get. If we expand this to 16 teams and then we take a leap to a God tier or whatever happens between 3 and 5 years down the road, it almost doesn't matter. It almost does not matter, because you are not going to walk back the Big Ten and the SEC when it comes to that revenue. They're never giving that back to you. You are never taking that back from the Big Ten and the SEC. So they're going to be much more pliable on structure and much more pliable on equal access to the college football playoff and winning a national championship, because they're already making the money. This is no different than Live Golf versus the PGA. You're essentially guaranteeing the Big Ten and the SEC the lion's share of the revenue, and they don't have to do anything on the field to earn it. That's what this is. It is, in my opinion, de-incentivizing the Purdues of the football world, the Indianas of the football world to rise to the top. It's not, there's no incentive there for them to build, to recruit, to spend more money building a program when, frankly, they have no monetary investment in it.
Well, and I think the interesting part to that end is that this conversation we're having, this money we're talking about, is just in the expanded college football playoff format.
That's right.
The 12-teamer. So if this is what they're doing in the 12-teamer, or what's being proposed, imagine what it looks like in a God tier format. Imagine what it could look like in a situation where the Big Ten and the SEC poach the top half of your football conference in the Big Ten or in the Big 12 and the ACC, and it's just going to be this group of elite teams playing. This is my point. This is what we've been saying on the show. They're laying the groundwork for that setup in the future. They're going to get this agreement done. They're going to make it so they're making the most money out of anybody. And then once this agreement's done, we're going to move on to, hey, we need to set something up that ensures the long-term, like decade, 20-year outlook of how we're going to do college football and how we're going to make it possible for the top cut of college football to kind of step away from from everybody else, if you will.
Because what's going to happen is the TV contracts are not going to get smaller. They're going to get larger because streaming money is going to come into this. And once you sign this extension with ESPN and ABC for the college football playoff, I think you are going to dramatically alter the structure of the college football playoff going forward. I don't think it's simply going to be where we're just going to expand the same format to 16 teams. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think there's going to be, I think you're going to get to 16 eventually, but I think you're going to be in a position where, hey, we're going to make decisions and we're going to consult you on it. It's not going to be like some collaborative, because what's good for the college football playoff is now good for the SEC and the Big Ten. What's good for whatever this structure is going forward now is good for the SEC and the Big Ten. So I don't know. This is not doomsday. It's not that doomsday scenario where, like Jake just mentioned, the Big Ten and the SEC took the top half of the Big 12 and the ACC and said, okay, we're going to go play our own game. Because I think that would have been apocalypse. That would have been the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I think that you would have had more Pac-12 type situations where Oregon State and Washington State are just left twisting in the wind, where K-State, where Iowa State are just left twisting in the wind, where Houston football is left twisting in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the apocalypse. What you're looking at now simply is that the structure of power in college football changes. They're making more money. They're going to have more say, and they don't really need to ask your permission. To me, that's where we're going. And Greg Sankey's not even trying to hide that. So while all of the other hyenas are off in the corner talking about how the NCAA is going away, and Monty said, all the YouTube channels that are making videos off of our videos, we appreciate you giving us run. Thank you. We just passed 76,000 subscribers the other day. Thank you. It's ridiculous.
Yay.
But while all the other hyenas are out there trying to find ways to talk about us, we're just going to continue to tell you, they don't care about the NCAA going away, because the NCAA has no teeth now.
Mm-hmm.
They can't enforce NIL regulations and aren't even going to fight that. They can't enforce transfer regulations and aren't even fighting that. So the portal's free, the NIL's free. We sat up on Congress yesterday. Ted Cruz with his grandstanding. Do we really need Nick Saban telling us how terrible the college football world is right now? I don't. We're well aware of it on the show. We talk about it all the time.
All the time.
Right? Like, I don't need taxpayer dollar going to fix NIL.
Yeah.
That's not what we need. You let this happen when you make decisions like give the SEC and the Big Ten 30% each. That's how we're getting here.
Mm-hmm.
They'll continue to tell you, oh, Monty, let me tell you how bad the NCAA is, Monty.
That's bullshit.
My God. Notice nobody up there yesterday was in favor of making kids employees. What happened to that? Oh, they got to be employees, Monty. Monty, we got to have them be beneficial. Got to have them be employees. Got to have health insurance over here, Monty.
We're not talking about that. We're not interested in Monty make benefit. We're interested in hey, let's make sure we're all making money. And then if we're all making money, then, if the kids want to make money, that's fine. We won't stand in the way, but as long as we're taken care of.
And how many people on this show, and if you watch this show every day, you hear this all the time, when I say it's a bunch of old white men trying to control what young black teenagers are doing with their money.
Facts.
And how much money they have access to.
Yeah.
What did we watch yesterday up on Capitol Hill? A bunch of old white guys being pissed off and bemoaning how much money young black teenagers are making in this country.
Folks, that's what it is.
They don't want kids to have power.
Nope.
They don't want kids to have money. They don't want, universities and their athletes creating unions. Just come play football and be glad that we're giving you an education that we're going to threaten to take away from you.
Just shut up and dribble. It's fine.
That's what it is. So
that's all it is.
That's not NIL in the portal. That's 25 to 30% of the revenue in Greg Sankey's pocket. That's how we get to Capitol Hill's got to make rules and laws with taxpayer money to save college football. And I love how these assholes are like, well, man, Joe Manchin yesterday. Oh God, the student athlete is gone as we know it. It's been gone. And what do you know about it? Joe Manchin, the student athlete. What student athlete?
Yeah, I don't know what a student athlete is. I know what a football player who's going to the league is that has to go to class because you mandate it.
Come on. It's just so wild to me that this is the stuff that we're talking about. Like,
yeah, I mean, I just think it's a matter of convenience when we start getting into congressional situations. It's like, oh yeah, like the college football is terrible and the world's burning down. But hey, guys, while the TV cameras are up, what can we work into the back end of this deal that we're not going to talk about, right? Like, it's that type of conniving foolishness that takes place with college football in congressional situations. And I just think you want to sit there and you want to talk about how bad college football is. It's only getting worse with you involved. That's the problem.
I think this is one of the, and we're going to talk about this RFK, Robert Kennedy, Aaron Rodgers saving the world thing. But this is where we've gone in this country.
Yeah.
We don't solve the problem. We just want to make sure that we build systems to keep all the money. And then we complain about the unintended consequences. How many times have I said that on this show? The unintended consequences. Oh, man, money, we got to make them employees. Well, we can't do that. Better give them their name, image, and likeness. And now here we are. Can't let them have their look at our books, Monty. Can't do that either. Unintended consequences. So my point is, when we're talking about the Big Ten and the SEC getting 30% of the college football playoff money, that's a problem. When you're talking about giving Notre Dame, and again, Notre Dame, our mother, there's nobody that loves Notre Dame more than myself, and such as alike.
Monty, Notre Dame's got to join a conference. Come on, Monty.
Notre Dame's getting 1% every year of the college football playoff rev.
Well, Monty, that's not a lot of money. 1%.
You're guaranteeing Notre Dame $2.1 million every year.
That's a lot of money, bro.
Why would you join a conference? Again, where are all the hyenas who are like, hey, Monty, finally forced Notre Dame to join a conference. Holy cow. You did? You're giving them $2.1 million every year out of the college football playoff. Not find me a university not in the Big Ten or the SEC who would say no to that. Because if you're looking at the Big Ten and the SEC getting what, $4 million, $3 to $4 million a school in a 16 to 20 team league, which is coming. 20 teams, I think, is definitely going to happen. But you look at, they're making $3 to $4 million a school now. You're looking at $2 to $3 million a school in the Big 12 and the ACC. Why would Notre Dame walk away from $2.1 million a year?
In addition to their TV contract.
Are you kidding me?
They're getting paid, bro.
Yeah.
You're getting paid.
And who's getting paid? And again, Notre Dame, our mother. I love my guys in South Bend.
Well, Monty, 10 men on the field.
As soon as they fire Marcus Freeman's unable to count the 10 ass, we're going to be in really great shape in football. But I would just point out, Notre Dame. What will the criteria for Notre Dame making the college football playoff be?
I mean,
because my guess is if we're 14 or 16, all they got to do is be 14 or 16 in the country they're in, guaranteed.
Yeah, what, 2 losses? Less than
I don't
2
know.
losses?
I don't know.
Like, honestly?
But all they have to do is be ranked in the top 16 or 14.
Yeah.
And you're still cutting them a check for $2.1 million. It's wild to me. Yeah, do they have to win more games? Are they ever going to have a bye? Unless they're like one of the top 4 seeds, they won't. But
they don't need that. They don't even need that. That's the beauty of the system for these people or schools or whatever. You don't even need to be one of the best in the country.
You don't.
You just need to get in.
That's it.
And this has been my point the whole time, right? The point is that these conferences, like the other big point here is that these conferences want to get exactly. So you're going to have a situation where the SEC, and we don't know what the auto qualifier situation is going to be, or like, obviously in the expanded format we're looking at here, they approved 5-7. So, okay, great. But moving forward after this, I'm telling you, the next piece of conversation is auto qualifiers and bye weeks. You're giving us more revenue, But to ensure we can scoop up even more revenue within that, we want auto qualifiers and we want bye weeks. We want better chances to win national championships, and we want that through bye weeks, and we want that through more auto qualifiers. That's the next thing to ask for.
And
I don't think you can do that.
I think it's a slam dunk, no brainer. That is going to happen. There is no doubt about that.
That's what I think really damages college football. This whole revenue thing, at least here you can say, okay, well, the SEC and the Big Ten, they've earned the right to be able to say, hey, we should get paid more money. And I don't really think that that's controversial. I don't think that people, it's not controversial on this show, but people who are making these decisions and having these conversations like commissioners and stuff, they're not going to disagree with that. The numbers lay that out.
No.
But I think when you start saying to someone, hey, because of what they've done, they start getting bye weeks and they get all these advantages, then you start taking issue, because then it's like, well, how much of an advantage are you going to give them? Because they've already got all the best players. They're already playing in the biggest bowl games. They're already playing in the biggest stadiums, the biggest situations. Like, how much of an advantage are we going to give them? But that's where I think you have issues.
And I think you have to ask that question about Notre Dame. How relevant is Notre Dame?
I think they're extremely relevant when we're halfway through
when
the
they're
season
good,
and they're a no-loss team, when they have 0 losses, they're right in the middle of the conversation.
When they're good.
Yeah.
But, and again, I feel almost weird saying it. Notre Dame, there's a lot of years where I just don't believe that Notre Dame is that relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to be. But I just go back to the question of, how does Notre Dame lose at home to Ohio State on the goal line because they didn't have the right personnel on the field? Well, because you hired a rookie head coach who's not qualified for the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tommy Rees goes to Alabama. Didn't see, like, developing Jalen Milroe. Didn't want to stay at Notre Dame. Didn't want to stay at Notre Dame. Like, I don't understand it. I want to believe that Maillard and that we're in this right spot. And I think I think at 10-3, Notre Dame was a good team last year. And their schedule this year, I just ask, is this a college football playoff schedule?
You know what I'm going to say?
I was looking at this last night. This is not a college football playoff schedule.
But again, it's Notre Dame. Doesn't have to be.
At Texas A&M, Northern Illinois. At Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, at USC.
Yeah, I mean, I think Florida State, USC, there's some big games on there, but that's not like an amazing schedule. That's a pretty weak schedule, actually.
I just don't.
But again, if you're a no-loss team heading into the last 3 weeks of the season,
and you probably should be.
Yeah, you probably should be.
You probably should be.
You're going to be right in the middle of it.
And, if you're playing Virginia, Army, and at USC, I would think USC is going to be a very difficult game at the Coliseum. Oh. But that game's November 30th at the Coliseum. It's a huge game. You would think that USC would be top 5 in the Big Ten, arguably top 3 in the Big Ten. It depends how much Jerome Moore and Michigan look like. But come on, man. Like Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame, and I guess what I want Notre Dame to be held to an incredibly high standard. And I'm all in favor of Notre Dame being independent. That comes with a price tag. You need to be undefeated.
Wow.
If you're not going to go through the grind of a conference schedule, you need to be undefeated. This was the BYU conversation we had for so many years.
I think what's difficult, though, is the grind of a conference schedule. The ACC is not a grind, right? Like, if Florida State runs a table in the ACC and loses to Notre Dame, they should be embarrassed. Honestly, don't tell me the ACC is some amazing conference on the football field, because it's not. And for Notre Dame, yeah, that schedule is soft. There's no doubt about that. But how many times in the football season we're like, yeah, man, that schedule is pretty soft for Georgia, for, I don't know, Ohio State, right? Like, we talk about this all the time. So the problem is that Notre Dame's going to get in on brand recognition alone, assuming they're a one-loss team.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. Anyway, And I'm a Notre Dame. I'm a diehard Notre. I'm miserable on Saturday evenings most weeks because, well, Marcus Freeman sucks.
Yeah, are you going to hang your flag outside the front door this year, or are you too ashamed after that, 10-man thing?
I always hang the flag.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I just think you look at what is. I think you look at. Listen, if Notre Dame's getting $2 million a year from the college football playoff, I'm thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thrilled. And with their TV contract, and I want Notre Dame to be held to a standard. And for everything that Brian Kelly didn't do, Brian Kelly had an impossibly high standard for himself.
Yeah.
At Notre Dame. And did he come through? He didn't. Did you want him to coach big games? You don't. LSU's finding that out.
Yeah, first team all lose big
right?
games.
But Marcus Freeman ain't it. And I think Notre Dame brings boys to the TV. There's no doubt about that. The only reason I'm a college football fanatic is because of Notre Dame. That's it. Tony Rice, Rick Meyer. Like I am here for Brady Quinn. I am a huge Notre Dame fan.
Yeah, Manti Te'o's fake girlfriend.
She was hot. But listen, one of the great joys of my life was talking to Tim Brown at the Super Bowl about Notre Dame football.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want them to be held to a higher standard. That is the only thing that matters.
Yep.
So, all right, let's get your comments in here. As always, brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. Won again last night. See, did I bring it up to you today? I did not bring it up to you today.
No.
Because again, I go and I say to myself, you are an incredible pimp of the highest order.
I mean,
right?
You're no Notre Dame, but
of the highest order, you are an incredible pimp, which is why I say to myself that when I look at the New York Yankees, baby, scoring a run in the first inning, winner yesterday, and I only say that because it was some kid named Jose Rojas.
Oh,
never fucking heard of number 83 that plays third base for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
My man got an RBI single to get me the win in Prize Picks. Right? And okay, it's only that's early in the day. But then I look at my guy Key last night.
My guy Key. First team all get the hell out of Jason Tatum's way.
Keontae George last night. All I needed was 4 3-pointers. My man went 5 of 10.
Oh, yeah. Casual 50-piece nugget, 50%.
Now, I will also say that Jason Tatum, 38 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's 46.
Mm-hmm.
44 and a half was his total last night.
Okay.
That's right, baby.
Nice.
But that $56 in the account. Do you know how long it has been since Chaboy went 3 for 3 on Prize Picks?
Well, it ain't going to happen tomorrow with the players starting. I could tell you that.
I love Prize Picks. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
It is. If you have not downloaded the Prize Picks app, if you have not used the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching, you're crazy. You are absolutely crazy. If you are not playing, my guy Greg Hawkins playing spring training baseball on Prize Picks, yes. Joseph Harper, who for the longest time could not miss on Prize Picks,
right,
said to me the other day, man, it's been a dry stretch.
I don't know.
It's what happens.
It's how it goes.
But boy, when you're winning on Prize Picks, it's awesome. I put up $20 to win 56.25 last night. Cashed. And the best part is flex play. Yesterday, Jason Tatum was one of the Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Got to play on the flex. Right? I'm telling you. Hook it up, prizepicks.com. 100% deposit matching up to $100. You put in 10, they'll give you 10 more. You can play for a year on $20. Trust me when I say that. All right, let's get your comments going here.
Can we please not light the comments section on fire today? I mean, would you guys mind just keeping it civil?
Yeah, if we could keep some normalcy up in this mug.
Yeah.
Because we're going to light it on fire in 20 minutes when we talk about Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan cheating scandal.
Yeah, and all the new details that came out that basically said everything we told you like 2 months ago.
Just
Just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Eric and Raleigh. Aaron Rodgers is VP for Kennedy. Pat McAfee is the press secretary for them, right?
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Talk about that coming up. Mike Smith, the Ohio State, is stacking it up. If they don't win it all, Ryan Day is going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
You mean Lloyd Carr? Right? Ryan Day's he's Lloyd Carr. Have they ever been seen together in the same room at the same time? No, they haven't. Tell me that Ryan Day's not Lloyd Carr. And yeah, he better win. It would be nice to have a third party that is not made up of far right or left loons.
Again, we're getting into politics, man.
That's right. Big Daddy Magic. Hey,
Hey, players.
Without blood, you can't live. Go donate, Big Daddy Magic. RedCrossBlood.org. Next Monday, 1 to 7, the Advocates in Murray. They're going to have the blood donation bus that Jake fell out of when he passed out last time he donated blood.
Me? What?
Was amazing.
What?
Free snacks. They're giving away gift cards, and you're giving the gift of life. RedCrossBlood.org. Use the sponsor code ADVOCATESSLC. ADVOCATESSLC. Next Monday, 1 to 7 in Murray. Jake is going to try not to fall out of the bus.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you should probably take the under on Prize Picks for me not falling out of the bus, but,
I'm just saying.
Promises.
I'm just saying. Your blood type is THC positive,
Yeah,
correct?
See, there you go.
Dakota Tubbs, yes, it is, Mike. That's right. Let's see. Who's in this morning? Amy S. Amy, hello. Good to see you. Here for the beginning of the show, a hideously early flight to Pac-12 tourney has one upside.
Yeah.
Early, are you more of an early or a midday flyer?
Depends on the instance. If I'm going home, I like to do morning, early day.
Next Monday, when we're coming back from spring training.
Yeah, it's going to be a long
We're
day.
flying at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Good luck.
That's going to be a tough day. By the way, did I mention we're not doing a show next Monday? That's amazing. Wasikowski, this is why the ACC will no longer exist next year after ESPN revisits the contract. Well,
I mean, how strong are the drugs, dude? Honestly.
Some days I think you just show up and choose violence.
Yeah.
I think that's what this is. Eric Wasikowski, just add an extra weekend to the NCAA tournament and expand to 256 teams. It's coming because, and it's why I've been hearing about it, and I've been telling you about it for months. I have to believe that Brett Yormark is going to be a leading voice in the fight to expand the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
How could he not? And I don't know when you start beating that drum, but he's at the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City now.
Yeah, I think you have to be already. I think you're having the conversation.
Yeah, Scott of Greywater watched the Big East is pretty good at basketball too, but how relevant are you? How relevant are you? And if you're the Big East, aren't you crying for more NCAA tournament slots as well?
Yes.
You are. So it's going to be, it's going to be amazing. Mike Smith, if they split football and basketball, the Big 12 should get some Big East teams. And I think this is again why basketball expansion has been very quiet. It's in everybody again, because I keep receipts, mother. Everybody that was bitching and moaning that you're wrong, Monty. UConn's coming to the Big 12. There was no trigger to make that move. With this unequal revenue sharing in the college football playoff, I have heard for the last week this is going to push a major overhaul in college basketball. And I think the thing that Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey are going to have trouble getting away from is their own words.
Yeah.
Well, we put 40% of the teams in the college football playoff. Well, how many did you put in the NCAA tournament? And how many did you?
Yeah.
Who's driving the TV numbers in college basketball? Who's driving the tournament revenue? Who's driving the tournament shares?
Yeah, can't have it both ways, right? I mean,
can't have it both ways.
Yeah, you're going to apply that logic in football. You got to apply it in basketball.
And we'll see. We shall see. Eric and Raleigh, 16 teams in the college football playoff, 12 of which will come from the SEC and the Big 32. You're not wrong. The NCAA should adopt a high school basketball playoff rule. Finish 500 overall or finish 500 in league, and you qualify for the playoffs. That's a lot of teams. That is a lot of teams. Michigan wouldn't qualify.
Nah, they wouldn't even be close. I mean, you know, they're playing like 180 basketball right
Does
now.
Juwan Howard make it to the locker room before being fired after the Big Ten tournament?
No.
I love all the Michigan bloggers hitting me on Twitter.
The Mooks.
With the Mooks, thank you. I love all the Mooks from Michigan who hit me on Twitter and they're like, "Oh, hey, here's my latest article on the Michigan basketball team's going to make a run through the Big Ten tournament." Then what are you going to say, Monty? I'm going to tell you that they're not making a run.
Oh my God! Hey, Monty, you said that Michigan was terrible.
Michigan,
and now they're making a run.
They're 8-23.
Wait, I thought you said they were 8-23, dude. Come on.
The problem is, look at the bottom half of the Big Ten in basketball.
Well, look no further. Michigan's, first on the list there.
You're 18-13 at Iowa, Michigan State, and Minnesota. Michigan State having a down year. Your basketball thoroughbred, Michigan State, 10-10 in conference, 18-13.
Yeah.
Is that a tournament team?
Ugh.
I mean, you're probably getting the benefit of the doubt, but you can't lose to Wisconsin. You can't lose to Arizona. You can't lose to Duke.
Players program.
You can't lose to Northwestern and Illinois and Wisconsin again and Minnesota and Iowa, Ohio State, and Purdue and Indiana. And your lone win in those 4 games is Northwestern.
Because it's garbage.
Northwestern, who gave you free car wash pet. Never mind.
Yeah, shower hurdles.
Can't do that. Wasikowski, if you ain't in, you ain't in. Big 12 ACC need to deal
bro,
with
you're I don't know what you're on.
Yeah,
today, but
good luck.
you
Eric and Raleigh, Florida State, Clemson, Notre Dame won't be left twisting in the wind. The ACC is dead. I would agree with that. They will not be left twisting in the wind. They just won't. Stepanek. I'm a Yankee fan because of one of my relatives playing for them back in the 40s. Love it. Go Cubs. Cody Hansen. Hello. Is Utah football in danger in the future of college football? Not even a little bit.
No.
Not even a little bit. I mean, I'm just telling you that, and we get asked this a lot on the show. Utah, I don't know how else to say it other than they are one of the most successful athletic programs. They have one of the most successful women's developmental programs. You look at the success that, Utah softball has had recent times. Utah women's basketball, again. You look at gymnastics. You look at, their athletic program under Mark Harlan, who I think should have been the commissioner of the Pac-12, who I think should be sitting on the college football playoff committee. He should be an upper level administrator. He's dominating. He is growing and developing athletics. Nobody wants to talk about that because it's Utah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about the fact that you have a president and an athletic director in lockstep that are well respected across all of college athletics. Utah is in a really good position. And then if they go out and win the Big 12 this year in football, which I think they're going to be in position to do come early November, they will have games of consequence to determine their fate as a participant in the Big 12 championship. It's unequivocal to me. And it's crystal clear to me. That's the best football program in the Big 12. And I know that pisses people off, and they're like, well, Monty, what about Utah's the best football program in the Big 12?
I totally agree.
Kyle Whittingham is, in my opinion, the best football coach in the Big 12.
Yep.
Do you have a lot of schools that should be better? Yeah. Joey McGuire needs to get his shit together this year. Texas Tech has to have a better year. Where's Aaron Wilson this morning? My guy.
Facts.
Texas Tech has to have a better year.
Yes, they do.
TCU, Sonny Dykes. Were you a one-hit wonder? You got to have a better year. Kleiman's got to have a better year. Leipold has to have a better year. Campbell has to have an even better year.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody stepped up. And so the Houstons of the world, look at the bounce house. Look at our boys at UCF.
Uh-huh.
They're not going to be a walkover opponent not one time this year. Look at BYU. I think BYU gets bowl eligible this coming season. They're going to win some games. Our guy Jake Retzloff, I think, is going to be your starting quarterback, and I think they're going to win games.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a lot better than most people are giving him credit for. And I think when you look at BYU and you compare him to a lot of other programs in the Big 12, BYU's definitely got offseason momentum happening, and I think Utah's got offseason momentum happening. I think the K-States of the world do not have momentum happening.
A lot of change in Manhattan.
Yeah, I think that I haven't heard a ton out of Okie Light, so I don't know.
Got knocked out of the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just kind of, I don't know. I think that there's definitely. But
Monty, Oak State's got Alan Bowman back. Okay. My question is, at what point does somebody like who's at the bottom of the Big 12? Baylor.
Well, Dave.
At what point do you say we want to win football games? Because I can tell you right now, Utah wants to win every single game, and they do everything they need to do to win every single football game.
Well, and I think they expect to win.
And
that's the difference.
Because they're well prepared, they're well coached, they're well trained, they are well fed, they have an actual strength and conditioning program and a regiment. Like, I don't think, you know what, man? I don't think on any way, shape, or form would I be worried about the future of Utah football.
Yeah.
They're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Just fine. Dak of the Tubbs. What the F is normalcy in the comments section? I haven't seen that in 6 months of the show program. I don't know anymore.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Delve into politics and like all these crazy ass conspiracy theories. Can we stay away from that today? Can we just,
We tend to, and it's almost why I hesitate to bring up the RFK thing coming up here in about 10 minutes. I am I'm a little surprised, but we'll see. I don't know. Daniel Dixon. Looking forward to seeing how Iowa's new OC does. Tim Lester was a little bit of a surprising hire. So we'll it's a big year for Iowa.
You know what they say. The more you F around, the more you find out.
But the focus won't be Caitlin Clark and her record breaking anymore. She's going to the league now. What's all the focus in Iowa City going to be? It's going to be right where it belongs on Kirk Ferentz and Iowa football. And I know this is blasphemy. You probably should have made wholesale changes in that program. Because you're not going in.
That's bullshit.
We played for the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, Monty, did you see what we did in '85? I mean, we really were relevant, and we're doing good.
Go Hawks. I'm telling you right now. You should have made wholesale changes there.
But you didn't, and here we are.
Yeah. Phoenix Master, what's up? Pac-12 tourney should be fun. Yeah, the final one. Am I still the only one that struggles to say that? The Pac-12 will no longer exist essentially after this basketball tournament ends.
It's wild.
Crazy to me. Stupanic. Congratulations to Iowa Hawkeyes for winning the Big Ten tournament. Clark is awesome. What happens when she leaves?
Yeah.
New times, dude. New times. Juwan Howard has to be fired after how bad they have been this year. And there is a scandal coming. There's going to be significant change in that program, or Ward Manuel won't be there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bad. And there are some rumblings, as we've talked about on this show, about player health and safety. There's some rumblings about behavior, culture.
Yeah. It's
coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. Michigan basketball is no West Virginia basketball, but they'll do.
Neil.
OG Gary, we absolutely do not need to expand the college basketball tourney. Yeah, you do. As a product, no, you probably don't. Oh, the product sucks. It doesn't. But it's not about the product anymore.
Yeah.
It's now about making money.
Yep.
And the Big 12 and the ACC, the preeminent basketball powers in this country, are going to be making less money on the football field, which provides for everybody. Am I the only one yesterday that, noticed we're having major conversations? Greg Byrne, the athletic director at Alabama, did you hear what he said? Football and basketball pay for everything. But at some point, we can't afford it. Like not even a veil threat, an all-out point blank, we're going to cut sports. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah. People are going to have to.
We're gonna. The ATM machine is only going to keep spitting out Benjis. It's never going to stop. Oh, but you're not making as much. Yeah, but we're going to cut badminton. We're going to cut diving.
Yeah.
We're going to cut. I think your stick and ball sports are safe. I do. I think gymnastics is safe. There's a TV contract on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a diver or a swimmer, that's not good.
No. Nope. If you are a non-revenue generating athlete, that's not good for you.
That's what I think you're going to. Oh, Title IX, though. Okay. Watch the cuts begin. Michigan basketball equals Missouri basketball. Quinn Snyder, I love you. And I miss you. Michigan basketball equals Missouri basketball, but at least Michigan won some conference games. But it's Missouri, and
they're the best. And they being a god tier, right?
I don't. What do you? What? But
money
but you. Missouri, has anybody paid attention to Missouri? No, neither have I. If you look at Missouri's dominance on the basketball court and just the unbelievable summoning of that Tiger spirit.
Man, just your roar is so loud.
Their dominance over the SEC this year.
Man.
At 0-18 in conference play. I mean, their ability to focus on fundamentals while not winning a single game is not good. Like fundamental, like do you guys have basketball practice in Columbia? No,
yeah, do you do that thing where you like practice things you want to do in a game?
Do you guys? Is it true that Missouri misses their layups in the layup line pregame warmup? Is that true?
Yeah, they do that intentionally because they're not, they
don't want to freak anybody out.
Yeah, they don't want to freak anyone out.
So Dakota's saying that Missouri's on par with Michigan. Yeah, I'm going to say that's not.
No.
The lie detector detected that's a lie.
As usual, you're overinflating Missouri's value.
I don't know, man. I just. Anyway, a couple more, then we got to get to Michigan and Jim Harbaugh,
which is the real fun today.
My shoulder is. I'm going to try not to dislocate my shoulder.
Loose? Have you warmed up yet? I mean,
probably should. Phoenix Master. So you're saying Arizona won't be the only one cutting sports? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. They will not be the only one. They will not. Waiting. Do the children to come to get them? Okay, you shouldn't drink so early in the morning.
I was going to say, man, you're in deep today.
Waiting for the children to come get them. Okay, I mean, say it again. That's fine. It is what it is. Stepanek, do you think Mexican college basketball teams will play in the NCAA? I have no idea. No clue. Big 12 basketball is the way. Yes, it is, Shooter, Texas. Yes, it is. BYU gets underway tonight. The tourney gets under the Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah.
Are you guys like, do you guys get, is this when you get excited about basketball? Is this when you get excited about basketball? How about St. Mary's knocking off Gonzaga?
Gonzaga. Monty, it's not Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga.
Well, whatever it is, they're done.
Gonzaga.
St. Mary's won 69-60.
I like Gonzaga.
So does St. Mary's.
Gonzaga.
Is the window closing on Mark Few at Gonzaga?
Has to be.
BYU and UCF tonight. Kansas and Cincinnati tonight. Boy, Kansas. Come on, Kansas.
Come on.
Can Kansas carry the mail? That's the thing that's the thing that I think is very interesting. Can Kansas do the deal? That is the
Pete Thamel right now.
Yes.
You see that?
Go
West
ahead.
Virginia is expected to announce today that the school will hire a new men's basketball coach. Wonder why. I mean, they
Neil
were just
Brown
so dominant.
needs fired.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, my point is,
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Big 12 tournament. I am excited for can BYU. I would think Kansas wins that game. Can BYU beat Kansas?
Neutral site.
Can BYU contend with Justin? I think that's going to be very interesting. Like, I think there's a lot of really big games, and this Thursday, Friday through Sunday is going to be amazing. This is when you care about college basketball.
Yeah.
This is, to me, when you care about college basketball. So BYU tonight, I think it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting to see how good old little BYU.
Little BYU.
And actually, it's this morning, I think. 10:30 Mountain Time.
Okay.
So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
ESPN Plus, ESPN2, BYU and UCF. All right, let's get to, look, Maury Alvarez, our favorite Floridian.
Maury.
Big 12 needs to get a big bump in basketball payout since they can easily put in 1/6 of the field in the NCAA tournament. If I'm Brett Yormark, I am screaming that from the hilltops.
Yes.
I don't know how else you would. I mean, you look at the Big 12 and the power in basketball, and you look at what the Big 12 has done, and simply the additions. It make me the argument that Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, and UCF have not been solid ads in basketball.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think that those are, again, those are really good basketball brands. Even if they're not national championship good, they are certainly tournament good.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be one of these things where you're already, the Phillips 66 Big 12 basketball tournament, right? Like you already are in a situation where you have to find a way I think you have to find a way to make more money on your basketball.
Yeah.
And I agree. You should be fighting for that, in my opinion. And you look at TCU Oklahoma takes on Houston. That's going to be a phenomenal game. You look at Texas Tech getting the winner of BYU and UCF. BYU should win that game. And then it's BYU and Texas Tech, which I think is going to be amazing tomorrow. Right? But everybody's going to be watching that tournament.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be watching that tournament. So, yeah, I agree with you, Maury. I absolutely agree with you. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You guys, again, they need your help. As I've been telling you, they have a blood drive Monday, 1 to 7 at their Murray office. Murray, right here in the great state of Utah, Salt Lake City. If you are local, absolutely. Make sure you get to The Advocates on Monday, 1 to 7. Go to redcrossblood.org, redcrossblood.org. Use the sponsor code Advocates SLC. What you do is go to redcrossblood.org, find a drive, click on find a drive, use the sponsor code Advocates SLC, donate. That's what you do. And again, blood donations are so critical. Every 2 seconds, somebody needs blood or plasma in this country. And we never seem to have enough. Please donate blood and do it in the name of The Advocates, your singularly best injury attorneys in the business. And if you've been hurt at work, if you've been in a car accident, we are going to have hellacious weather this week in Utah with snow and rain, high winds. Again, I told you I almost got murked and unalived by a big rig driving down to the Jeezy a couple of weekends ago to play golf. And it was incredibly windy. And this big rig blew into our lane. And because, I drive race cars and stuff, I was able to save the lives of many.
Yes.
But if I had gotten in an accident, I'd have gone to The Advocates, because I know that The Advocates have seen every scenario. They know the exact right steps to take to secure your future and get you the best possible outcome in your situation, whether that's workman's comp, a car accident, a trip and fall, a slip at a grocery store, you name it. It's not your fault you got in that accident. You do deserve an advocate. You need somebody to fight for you. Get it done, theadvocates.com. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Donate blood next Monday, 1 to 7 in Murray. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Let's update you on this Jim Harbaugh situation, the Michigan cheating scandal. Now,
do we need the music or?
Sure.
Okay.
You can play the music. Oh, Michigan fan. As we told you last October when it was happening. And every Michigan fan came out of the woodwork and said that we don't know what we're talking about. You trust me, bro. Who are your sources? You tell me your sources. Well, how about the article that came out? What was it? Pete Thamel?
I believe it was. Yeah.
I believe it was. Pete Thamel had the details on the fact that during the Michigan football cheating scandal, the NCAA, the Big Ten, and the members of the Big Ten were all talking, sharing information, and that the NCAA provided a mountain of evidence, which made it possible for the Big Ten to take action against Michigan. Oh, that wasn't a misspeak, my friends. Remember we told you, and Michigan fan was like, you're full of shit, Monty. Well, it turns out we weren't. When we told you that the Big Ten was taking action against Michigan, not against Jim Harbaugh. They took action against Michigan by suspending Jim Harbaugh. What else did we tell you? Hey, the NCAA had all the evidence and they were well aware of what was going on. And when this thing went to court, the NCAA continued to communicate and continued to provide more and more evidence to Michigan and the Big Ten, which is ultimately why Michigan withdrew their action to get a preliminary injunction and a restraining order against the Big Ten. And they took their medicine because the evidence against Michigan was and is uncontrovertible, and it is overwhelming that Michigan was engaged in a significant football sign stealing cheating scandal led by Connor Stallions. And the evidence that we told you, and you guys are like, there's no evidence, Monty. Well, confirmed again, our original reporting that they had him at every stadium, sending people on video. Every member of the league had video of people in those seats. They knew, the members of the Big Ten knew what Michigan was doing. And Michigan knew that everybody else knew and continued with their efforts to sign steal and illegally send people to other stadiums across the league. And I bring this up today because, again, well, yeah, we were right. So why wouldn't we? Toot, toot, our own horn.
That's right.
Toot, 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 toot.
That's right.
Choo, choo.
I'm for real.
Choo.
I'm
Anyway,
for real.
the point is, I'm not one to, I am actually.
Listen to this excerpt from Big Ten Communications. As described below, the existence of the impermissible scheme is proven, while other investigatory bodies continue to develop additional evidence of the scope, extent, and individual knowledge of the scheme that may advise additional or enhanced penalties in the future. Taking immediate action is appropriate and necessary under the conference's sportsmanship policy, which is pretty much lock, stock, and barrel what we told you. They had to do it. They didn't have a choice.
And they had every right under the rules and regulations of the Big Ten to suspend Jim Harbaugh as a punishment against Michigan. And again, what did I tell you? Michigan should have at some point denied the allegations. Michigan has never denied that they were involved in a sign stealing operation. Michigan was not going to go into court and say, we didn't do it, this is outrageous. They were never going to make that argument. The only argument that they could have made was Jim Harbaugh didn't know what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But the evidence is overwhelming.
Yeah.
From the NCAA, from the Big Ten, and from all of the members of the Big Ten, that they were physically and actively engaged, using other people to go to these venues through which they were paid in Connor Stallion's Venmo account, through an account in the cloud where they uploaded the video. The tickets were paid for in Connor Stallion's name. There's no denying it anymore. And on top of that, you have this Michigan basketball situation that is coming to the surface now. You are starting to hear the details in the reports that we told you about several weeks ago, where there is a significant scandal brewing in the Michigan basketball department, you have no choice here but to take action against Juwan Howard.
Yeah, and I think
You
we're
have to.
We're getting to that point where you got to start talking about Ward Manuel.
You have to.
I mean, I don't know how long, even for Michigan, and I hate saying that, but it's true. Like, even for Michigan, how long are you going to keep dealing with this nonsense?
Yeah, I don't. And if you're a Michigan fan, I don't know how you just stand by and think that this is okay. Ward Manuel is a terrible athletic director.
Yeah.
Ward Manuel has done a terrible job. He got used and hung up wet by Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
You got humiliated by Jim Harbaugh. You're getting humiliated by Juwan Howard, who you still don't want to meet in a handshake line. It is, again, it's not even in dispute. Michigan athletics is in shambles. And yet Ward Manuel continues to have his job. And in this new era where the college football playoff is not optional, it is not optional. It is the only measure by which you will be defined a winner. And you're going to take significant sanctions thanks to a lack of oversight from Ward Manuel. And it galls me that Michigan fans will not come out and say, yeah, we cheated. Because it's not a question of, did you cheat? Yeah, you did. You got caught red-handed. It's not a question anymore. You look at the evidence the Big Ten has. You look at multiple level 1 violations against Jim Harbaugh. You look at this Matt Weiss investigation. The FBI was on your campus. And you're just, hey, we're just sailing along.
Just chilling, man.
It's wild to me that as a Michigan fan, you're essentially standing here and saying the only way we can win is to cheat. Because you couldn't beat Ohio State before that. Frankly, if we're truth-telling about your hero and savior, Jim Harbaugh, that dude couldn't win a big game before Connor Stallion showed up.
Right.
Fine Steeler guy.
The dates don't lie. Jim Harbaugh didn't win at Michigan. Connor Stallions did, in my opinion. The players did. But you want to put a statue of this guy outside the big house.
Which is wild.
And I'm telling you, Jim Harbaugh is not the guy that you put up as a hero and a light in the darkness.
He can guide us
To NCAA sanctions and a show cause order that
That's bullshit.
will likely have never seen this serious before.
Yeah.
This guy was not a hero for you. You want to go and talk about free Harbaugh. You want to go and talk about vacuum guy, your offensive line, your defensive line. I'm here for that. Those guys balled out. But at some point, Michigan fan has to keep it real about Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel. They're a disgrace to that university. And every day that Ward Manuel continues in a leadership position is a disgrace to that university. And every Michigan fan who's like, oh, Jim Harbaugh, you're a disgrace to that university.
Couldn't agree more, dude.
And Michigan fan, and this is the thing, maybe the coup de grace. I don't understand how you don't see that you deserve better than this. How do you not deserve better than this?
Monty, we won an Natty, though. I mean, come on.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, the thing that'll be very interesting, how much did your cheating motivate those at the top of the Big Ten to achieve better? And I think it's significant.
Yeah.
I think it's significant. And I think that the very fact that a guy that's got the credentials of Ryan Day being on the hot seat in Columbus, which I believe he is, should tell you all you need to know. Because that should be the measure that you have at Michigan. Why were you going to make Jim Harbaugh the highest paid head coach in the history of college football? Let that sink in.
Because you're okay with cheating and running a dirty program.
It's just wild to me.
Yeah.
It's wild to me. I don't
Totally.
know how you, I don't know how you do that. Robert Fowler says you got to cheat to win. And Donut says asterisks for Michigan. who cares? Who won the national championship? Michigan did. The issue was that the NCAA didn't have the balls to take the needed measures to take Jim Harbaugh out of a position of leadership for that team. And the truth is, he was inconsequential. They were undefeated in the games that he missed.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh, and I'll continue to say this, he did one thing very well. He developed his talent at Michigan. Jim Harbaugh is not a great tactician. Jim Harbaugh is not a great in-game coach. But he's a good developer of talent.
Yeah, and you look at how they won the game, right? I mean, they didn't win the game because they just were so much better. They won the game because they were more physical.
I just don't. Yeah, it is what it is. The eye patch. Okay, Michigan cheated. They won a national championship. Let's move on.
Okay, what do you want to move on to?
It's
though?
more than that.
Like,
it's not. See, and I like Michigan fan that you can keep saying that. You can keep saying that, but at some point it has to matter. You can't possibly sit here and believe that everybody thinks you did it straight up and wow, they're the now on paper you're probably gonna you're not taking that. We're not doing Reggie Bush.
I don't want you to take away their championship. I want you to put them in the ground for 10 years. That's what I want you to do.
That's the only answer. It's the only answer. Steve Stepanek, the cheating goes a lot higher than Jim in the Michigan program. Ward Manuel.
Which again is why I say put them in the ground for the next decade and see who the next program is that cheats. Because I guarantee you won't find one for a while.
Brandon Butler, not one that's going to use publicly available ticket accounts. Michigan fan, can you hear? That is the fat lady. She is warming up her vocals and is about to take the stage.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think Jim Harbaugh will get significant punishment. I think that.
Yeah, it doesn't even bother me. I'll be honest. It doesn't bother me that Michigan won the national championship. Like, if it was somebody else other than Jim, and if they had won it straight up, I'd be like, cool. We got a different winner besides Alabama. Nice season. Cool. I have no problem. Like, I'm not even a Michigan hater. What I'm a hater of is the way Jim runs his program and the fact that it's just pervasive on campus right now. Like, you like the fact that your two most important sports are scandal ridden tells me everything I need to know about the leadership at Michigan. And at some point, whoever, I guess Santaono would be who Ward Manuel reports to. At some point, guys like Santaono need to be held accountable because it's not just a football problem.
And admittedly,
anymore.
he walked into this dumpster fire, but now he's in the position of leadership. He needs to fix it. You need to make wholesale changes in the athletics department.
But my thing with people in college athletics at that level is like, dude, like you have the power. If someone like that, if a president at a university wants to step in and say, yep, I don't really care what the Big Ten is going to do. We're suspending him. We're going to do it. We're going to get out in front of it, and then we'll deal with what the Big Ten has. Because I'm not about to let someone cheat their way to a victory. That is everything that is wrong with collegiate athletics is cheating to get done what you need to get done. And then, yeah, that's right, packing up the U-Haul and heading out to LA to play NFL games.
And the worst part is now Jim Harbaugh's out of your reach.
Yeah.
You're going to take all of this beatdown and you tried to make him the highest paid coach in the history of college football.
And he still said no, and he still left you out to dry. Nice.
It's embarrassing. So it's humiliating.
This is bigger than, hey, let's just move on, with all due respect. This is the health and integrity of college football.
Yeah. Brandon. Harbaugh walked away and will not give one F what the NCAA does to him. He dropped the bomb and ran to the NFL. That's exactly what he did.
Yes.
And it's wild to me. Big Daddy Magic. Michigan should be punished. Everybody in the athletic program should be forced to go to BYU football games for the next 12 years and put Mafannies on the foot-long hot dog. Okay. I mean, that's one way you could go about it. No doubt. Dakota Tubbs, I've heard that Michigan was voted #1 public dumpster fire in the world. I heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Great Sark. Now Jim is coach to my supercharger, Spanos' boy. Yeah, well, and he's going to do well for 3 years. He's going to do well for 3 years. But Jim's fire burns hot. Trust me, I was there with him pretty much every day in San Francisco. I covered that team, and he just does not care about individuals. He does not care about humans. That's not who Jim Harbaugh has ever been. K. Nurin, money has become the most important thing over everything.
Yep.
Stepanik, give Michigan the death penalty for 10 years in any championship game. Nah, they won't do that. And again, technically the death penalty doesn't exist. But I think one of the things that's so clear is most of the players that were the foundation of that team last year are gone. You're going to wind up punishing future generations of Michigan football players.
Yep.
Because what other choice do you have? Harbaugh knows he's never going back, ever. He's never going back. UW fan Jim, now that the Dogs are in the Big Ten, I think Michigan got screwed. That must be it.
Yeah.
That must be it. Much like all of us would get screwed if Aaron Rodgers is running for president.
Okay, before we get into this, can I just ask, why do we need celebrities and athletes, running for office? Why? Well, why is this becoming a thing? Oh, I know why. Because you're a dirty politician who is out of the race and you need a boost. And you thought that boost would be, let's call Aaron Rodgers, have him join the campaign. And even though he'll never be here because, he's busy playing NFL football, he can be my running mate and we'll get that figured out. Are you serious? Like, do you really think that that's going to make people vote for you more? Come on, dude.
Yeah. Apparently he does. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of RFK, is sort of running for president. And he has Aaron Rodgers as one of his top candidates to be vice president. Now, I will say the same thing that Jake said. What are we doing? So we already have two buffoons that nobody wants to vote for.
Yeah.
And now we have RFK. Now, I remind you about this guy. This is the guy who says he was close personal friends with Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein.
So he's been on the Lolita Express many times.
And Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that should speak volumes about his character. He has openly talked about how all of those gentlemen partied at his home, that they regularly came over, right? Like, openly talked about it.
Yeah.
This is the same quarterback who lied to everybody in the NFL in America. Well, I've been immunized.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
This is that guy. An admitted psychotropic drug user, a guy who is despised in every locker room, and now we're hearing about all the cancer that happened in New York around him. The Packers really didn't miss a beat. And we want this guy to be president. We want Aaron Rodgers to be president. We want RFK Jr. to be president.
No. Nope.
So I don't know how we get to a place. And again, I've said my theory has always been on RFK Jr. I think he is only running to help Donald Trump. He is only running to make sure that he drags enough votes away from Joe Biden that Donald Trump wins.
Mm-hmm.
Why Aaron Rodgers? Well, because he knows he's not going to win. Why Jesse Ventura? Because he knows he's not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well make a bunch of noise and have a bunch of rallies, because that's what we do in this country now. We just have these big self-aggrandizing events, and we don't make policies. We don't have solutions. We don't have laws.
Yeah.
We have a president putting forward this, like all kinds of crazy ideas. And Aaron Rodgers, Because if you vote for him, you're saying you want Aaron Rodgers to be president.
Which is just wild.
Do you guys understand?
Like, what are we doing? What's next? I mean, are we going to have John Cena running the country next? Or like, what are we doing?
I am very curious about that. I don't know who's next.
Yeah, I just think that it's what we always come back to, man. It comes down to that we as people nowadays just are not invested in who's running for president, or because we don't have great options. Again, it's kind of the angle you always bring up, like Reaganomics and that power time in our country and politics, where you actually had people that you could get behind. I mean, I honestly can't tell you the last candidate that I was like, man, I can really get behind this guy. Like, this is somebody that I would really be happy to vote for.
This is the same guy, Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., who was an assistant district attorney until they figured out he didn't have a bar card. And then when he went to pass the bar, he failed. And he resigned. So let me get this right. You're the living embodiment of Suits, right? Like,
how the hell are you an assistant AG and you don't have you didn't pass the
district
bar?
attorney, DA.
District attorney.
In Manhattan.
How?
Don't know. I just am.
How?
I am amazed by it. And I would love to understand it. But I don't. I want to understand it. And I want to, why would you ever even consider voting for this guy?
Would you guys ever consider voting for RFK and Aaron Rodgers? Seriously.
I listen, he's an independent. Now, obviously, RFK is a guy that is somebody that was a Democrat until last year. And I think he's pretty openly talked about running just to damage Joe Biden. I mean, he's essentially said that. Couldn't get on the ballot, couldn't get the votes.
Yeah.
Now, and I think the other thing that's really important to mention is he's going to have trouble getting on the ballot in most states. But all this is doing is weakening our country, Kathy.
Yes.
That's all you did today is weaken a country, right? That's all this is. And Aaron Rodgers is not the guy that should be your running mate. That tells me you're not serious about winning.
And you have no idea what you're doing.
Right? Am I the only one that's crazy for thinking, like, you're not serious about becoming the president?
No.
You are trying to raise your profile.
Well, and I think that, that point about trying to hurt Biden, I think that's why there's been other candidates in the race, right? I mean, I don't think that, you look at what? Vivek? Like, nobody was voting for Vivek. What was Vivek? Vivek was a distraction who now is falling off.
What was Vivek in the race for? Vivek was only in the race to help Donald Trump, and he didn't even as much as say that. He actually said that.
Yeah, and so you look at RFK and this Aaron Rodgers thing, and it's like, yeah, that's probably what this is. It looks like it, smells like it.
It's crazy to me.
Certainly walks like it.
It's crazy to me that we are in a time where we don't have who are you gonna vote for? We're in a situation as a country, Kathy, where we don't have anybody to vote for.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be blunt. I mean, I'm not a huge Donnie guy, but I'm also not a Biden guy. I think Biden's too old to be running this country. I think I don't know how many of you caught any small portion of the State of the Union situation last week, but my God, like, how old is this guy? Like, dude, it's painful to listen to him struggle and try to give these, speeches that are like supposed to be these, large, like grand, empowering speeches, and he can't deliver, man. And I'm not saying that makes him a bad guy, but that doesn't mean I want you to be our president, dude.
Well, and I also think it is significant that he is struggling. So for those of you who don't know, he is likely tens of millions of signatures away from being eligible to be on a ballot. And his campaign has talked openly about the fact that he does not have the signatures and is not close. And it's an uphill climb.
Yeah.
But the very fact that all of this is getting this much run, and we are now in a state in this country, the United States of America, supposedly the beacon of democracy, where we don't have a candidate to vote for.
Well,
How?
I think okay, so 2 points. One, yeah, we are the beacon of democracy. We are. We have several options in reality on paper that we're able to vote for. So in the system, yeah, sure. The democracy is still working. It's great. But I don't think that we're doing a great job of ensuring its long-term
No.
viability. And I
No.
think that's the hard part is like I don't know who even for like both sides of the aisle, man. And I hate saying that because I totally agree with what you always say. Like it's no longer a Republican Democrat
No.
thing. But when you look at the system, it's like, dude, we're so desperate to get younger people to vote and to get like a different sector of the country to vote that we're bringing in football players now. Like with all due respect, man, Aaron Rodgers doesn't know a damn thing about running a country.
Like you look at the tax situation in this country. You look at like mortgage rates are finally at a place where they're under 7%, right? And we're at a place where real estate's not affordable, but at least we're getting into a spot where you can see a lot of people now are able to refi their home.
It's doable.
You're in a situation where you can have the conversation.
Yeah.
But you look at what we're talking about with the economy here. Our economy is not about the middle class anymore. Our economy is doing everything we can do to make sure that rich people stay rich and poor people stay poor. Like Joe Biden put this tax plan out there in his budget. That's not a realistic budget plan. It's not even a plan that you can consider, right? But you look at the way taxes are now, we don't have a tax plan to support the American dream growing. So now I'm going to trust a quarterback who admittedly uses hallucinogens to get his thought process right. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you're going to have to do a darkness retreat for a day to figure out what you want to do about the border or figure out what you want to do about, nuclear threats overseas. Is that what we're doing? Like, I'm telling you, it's just not even.
So I go and I bring all this up to say, what are we doing with Aaron Rodgers running for president?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing putting a guy that is a current NFL quarterback on a ballot? Would you in the comment section, is there any scenario where Aaron Rodgers would get your vote? I cannot think of one.
Nope.
I cannot think of one. And I can't think of I think we need somebody that understands what it takes to get business done in this country. Aaron Rodgers doesn't know how to unify people. Like that's the biggest thing to me. Like, I don't believe in Democrats or Republicans. I believe in Americans.
Right.
And I think we got away from that. Aaron Rodgers doesn't fill that bill. And if he is potentially going to be my president, I can't see voting for him. I can't.
No way.
I don't know. I don't know how you would vote for him. How would you do that? And I would hope at some point that we would come to some kind of sensical alternative. Because I don't even know who I would vote. I don't know there's human being.
Yeah, I mean, there's not another option. And the problem is like, I would love to sit here and be like, yeah, we could all vote for this guy over here and he'll be able to win. But he can't. I mean, we're still in a place where you can't even get a legitimate female candidate on the bid. Like, you can't.
Can you imagine if you just had one normal guy?
Yeah.
Or gal, one normal candidate on either side?
Yeah. Because honestly, like, again, I'll keep saying it. I'm over the Republican Democratic stuff. I just want someone who's reasonable. And you're telling me you're not reasonable by suggesting Aaron Rodgers should be your VP.
That's crazy.
How?
It's crazy. Let's see. Mike Smith says VPs should be quiet and not have much power. We do not need another Dick Cheney running the country behind the scenes.
Well,
but understand I think we as Americans just write off the vice president as a nothing. I think the vice president's critically important. Look at Kamala Harris now. Like, Grandpa's on his last leg, dude.
Yeah.
It does not excite me.
It could literally be any day.
She does not excite me.
Nope.
And we're talking about doing this for 4 more years. If he's where he is now, what's he going to be in 4 more years?
Not better.
But who else do you vote for? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, whew, thank God, Aaron Rodgers. We're saved. Jesse Ventura. Oh, thank God. Oh, my God, we're saved. What, Vince McMahon was busy? Oh, that's right. He is busy.
Well, why don't we just write in Jay Cutler? How about that?
You had to bring it up. Maury Alvarez. Aaron Rodgers can barely run an offense, let alone a country.
That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly right. Tahiti Kine. When will the GOP nominate an intelligent people again? When will anybody nominate intelligent people again?
Yeah, we don't do
is
that.
there nobody?
Nope.
But I look at guys like Lindsey Graham or
That's Paul Ryan from all those years ago.
where's Paul Ryan now?
Right? Like Paul Ryan.
But I
was
look
gonna
at
run.
guys like Lindsey Graham. I look at these guys who are just career politicians. Joe Biden's a career politician, right? Like you look at these career politicians, they have no business being the thought leaders of our country.
Yeah.
It's not even that they continue to get elected. They're the thought leaders of our country. And they impact our lives on a daily basis. At our mayors, our governors, our state senators, our state congresspeople, they impact our lives on a daily basis.
Yeah. To the point where we get to pay for new arenas in Salt Lake.
Yeah. It's broken. Cody Hansen, he wouldn't get my vote even as a quarterback. I'm kind of with you on that. OG Gary, Aaron would never get my vote. Harry Austin, the San Antonian rides again. The U.S. has been overtaken by the extremes on each side. I would agree with that. Democrats yell about climate, but they all have beachfront property that should be underwater.
What the hell are you talking about,
What
bro?
are you talking about? Big Daddy Magic. Victor is a 7-foot walking, talking real life American dream.
Okay.
He's French. Just saying. Shooter, Texas. If someone could vote for that idiot Kamala, then they should have no issue voting for Rodgers.
But okay, hear me out. Seriously. At least with Kamala, she's a politician. You
At
may not
least
like
with her, you have experience.
Yeah, you may not like her. You may not agree with her.
But
her
she
opinions.
has real leadership experience.
Precisely.
And her family doesn't hate her, and she doesn't suck in the biggest moments of her career. Well, it's debatable. But the point is, she at least has real leadership experience. When are we going to stop voting for people who have no experience?
Yeah.
Where has that gotten us? Nowhere. OG Gary, now I believe the days of politicians only running the game are coming to an end, and I'm glad. They did this to themselves. They sold out and never upheld their oath. Never held their oath.
Yeah.
Never. Ron Nolan, you guys don't have time for this topic. Aaron Rodgers was talking about being on the short list for vice president. Get as far away from Trump as possible. Short list or not, he's a legitimate consideration to be the vice president of the United States.
Yeah. What do you mean we don't have time for this topic? It's a pretty straightforward conversation.
Why the fuck is Aaron Rodgers a candidate to be vice president?
I don't know why this is confusing or difficult.
That's the topic. There, done. There it is. Do you see that we're not fighting for America anymore? We're fighting for our party. You don't have a party. Do you really think the people like Marjorie Taylor Greene give a rat's ass what you think? Oh, do you really think all our politicians, and again, I point to Lindsey Graham, I point to guys like Joe Biden, they don't have the ability because we're so fractured.
Yeah.
Because we keep doing business with guys like RFK Jr. who want Aaron Rodgers to be his vice president. And you will vote for him. That's the problem. We don't care. Like Donald Trump is a perfect example. He's got no experience.
Yeah.
And all we've done for the last 8 years is sow the seed of instability for Americans.
That's my question. what happens, and if you guys remember, I brought this up last week, and I think it's a really fascinating one, no matter which part of the side of the conversation you're on. What happens when we move past Biden and Trump for the 8th round? Like,
Who's
what happens?
next?
Right? Like, what happens? You
Who's
tell
next?
Me, are you really telling me that, let's say that, as an example, let's just say Biden wins again, right? And serves his final term, and we have a 100-year-old guy walking around with a cane as a president. You really telling me that Donald Trump's going to continue to be president until he's in his 80s? You really telling me he's that committed to it? Because that's the outlook. If Donnie loses this time, he's not going to have another opportunity, obviously, until he's close to 80 years old.
So let me get this right. We get to choose between a guy that in Joe Biden, that I just don't think is fit for the job. And we get to choose between a guy who says he wants to be president for the rest of his life. He wants free reign to do anything he wants, and he's above the law. And that's who we get to choose between.
Apparently.
Who's fighting for Americans? Who's fighting for me? Like, nobody. So I ask again, who's the next one? Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Nah.
Ron DeSantis? Gavin Newsom?
Interesting. Haven't really been hearing much out of DeSantis country.
No, because he's dead. He's going to struggle to be the governor of Florida next time around. Like, who? And the other question I have is, why on earth would you run for president in this country? You're out of your mind.
That's precisely why we're in the predicament we're in.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
If you're,
yeah,
we just don't have it. We just don't have it, man. I'm telling you, we just don't have it. And I wish it did. I wish we do. We don't.
No, we don't.
Mrs. Monty says that it is full on heavy snowing outside right now. I'm so ready for warm weather. I am so ready for warm weather.
Can we talk about this housing thing real quick too?
Yes.
So what was it? What was it in the pre-show meeting? What'd you say? We're down to
6.84%. The mortgage rates finally broke 7 again.
So we're getting back into, hey, it's at least something to look at territory. We're no longer in the, hey, this isn't even possible, I would never do this territory. We're moving, the closer we get to 6%, the closer we get to, hey, we should be buying stuff, right? Because at 6%, it's at least workable, right? I mean, obviously, that's still a high interest rate by today's standards, but it's workable.
Yeah. And your refi rate, you can probably get 6.75 to 6.85. And I will tell you the same thing I said about buying a car the other day. If you can't afford to buy a house, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. And if you don't have the money to buy a new car, please don't.
Yeah.
If you are under a 700 credit score, pay your debt off. Don't buy a house. Don't buy a car. Pay your debt off.
I feel like we don't, well, I don't feel like it. I know we don't teach people how to go through the ebbs and flows of life from a financial perspective, right? Because everybody goes through it, right? And you in the comments section, again, you know, I guarantee you everybody in this comment section has been in a place in life where you're in that phase where you're heavy debt and you got to go back through that cycle, paying your debt down before you can make a move. And everyone goes through that. And I think it's fascinating that we as people are like, yeah, well, you know, my top end of credit is probably like 780, 790, you know, when I'm debt free outside of, and when I say debt free, like I don't have credit card debt. Obviously, pretty much everybody's got a car loan, right? But when I say debt free, hey, no credit card debt, no student loan debt, none of those extras. You got your car, you got your, you know, your lease on your apartment or townhouse, whatever it is, and that's it. So once you're in that place, then I think you can start manhandling a 6% rate on a mortgage. But I don't know why people try to push that so hard. Like, man, like I gotta buy a house. Because I know people who are like that. Like, holy cow, like forget the 20 racks of credit card debt I have that I should pay off first.
Yeah.
Let's go and get a house. To which I say, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you're handcuffing yourself. But I was excited when I saw this. I felt like, okay, cool. We're starting to, head back in the proper direction here.
It is really snowing out.
Wow.
Like, streets are covered in, like, it wasn't like that an hour ago.
No.
It's wild. Yeah, I agree. You can get under the qualifying limit, 685,000. You can get that at 6.85%. On a 30-year fixed with prime credit, you're at 6.95.
Yeah.
A jumbo loan, which is above 685 now, is 7.03%. All of those numbers are down. Even as inflation hangs around 3% right now, the CPIs and all of that. So yeah, we're finally moving in a better place.
Yeah. More
We
positive
are
direction.
finally moving in a better place. I would agree with that, which is why we got to figure out if skinwalkers are real.
Dude.
So have you guys heard about this Skinwalker Ranch thing?
So Skinwalker Ranch is iconic, right? Like everyone knows about the ranch itself. But most people are like, yeah, it's just, it's folklore. It's it's fake. It's, gypsy dust. It doesn't exist. It's not real, right? It's a fugazi. Yeah, until the federal government came out and said, yeah, actually it's not. There were, and I love this, right? For all the skeptics out there, that stuff doesn't exist. There were things that, quote, couldn't be explained.
They went out there to Skinwalker Ranch, which is in eastern Idaho or eastern Utah, excuse me. Utah. The federal government went out there and investigated it and didn't rule it out, but just said, yeah, there are things that we couldn't explain. We saw things that we could not explain. Skinwalker and Skinwalker Ranch is a huge phenomenon. People make movies about it. Do you believe in skinwalkers? Wow, that's not a no.
I believe that there's something going on there. I think there's too much. Because all the skeptics are going to say, oh, well, it's video. They manipulated it. It's fake, right? Like they created it. But what I'm here to tell you is that on some level, when there's this much video, I guess evidence, if you want to call it that, something is happening there that we can't explain.
I would agree.
And I think, whether you want to call it ghosts or paranormal or, whatever label you want to throw on it, I'm cool with that. But what I'm telling you is that something goes down on that ranch. And when you look at where it's at, geographically speaking, it is truly in the middle of nowhere. And
it is.
And that is why I think, it's a hotbed of activity, because I think you're not getting. I'm a big believer in you can feel stuff, right? Energy and you can tell the vibe. It's like the domes I think in Tucson it is. I could be wrong. Where there's these huge concrete domes where awful things happen all the time. That's been documented. They're in the middle of nowhere.
But you always get UFO sightings out there. You get these skinwalkers out there, the legendary of the Navajo tribe, legendary stories. You get that they're eating cattle and mutilating cattle, but there's no clear evidence. But the government says they can't dispel it.
Yeah, there were things there that they couldn't explain.
So again, I just ask you: do you guys believe in aliens?
And what I'll tell you what. I'm not interested in staying over at Skinwalker Ranch. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting when you look at that stuff. I'm not going there. I'm not staying there. I'm not watching the show because there's a huge show on it. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Yeah. I think it's interesting when you look at all that stuff. And then we have to talk about desserts to finish the show out today.
Yeah.
So, we can't do the non-sports stories of the day without talking about Dairy Queen bringing back the cherry-dipped ice cream cones.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
So, Jake, you were hardcore against this?
Yeah, I'm not. I'll be really blunt about this one. I'm not a huge Dairy Queen guy. There is one thing I like at Dairy Queen, and it is an Oreo Blizzard. Okay. OG Oreo Blizzard. Can't go wrong. But my question is, where is Dairy Queen gone? Because I can't even tell you where there's a Dairy Queen around me. And you're talking about first team all fat ass here. You ask me where something is, I can tell you. And I don't know where it is.
Hey, look at that. Jaron Eccles, who's been a member for 14 months.
Oh, let me pull it out for you, Jaron.
Let's go. So Victor Wenbam, your mama, is roaming around the ranch in his off time. I believe, yes.
Yes.
Victor Wembanyama is a skinwalker.
I mean, that's why he's playing for a team that wears black uniforms, right? I mean, that's what skinwalkers wear.
So Dairy Queen. Yeah, I'm a huge dipped ice cream cone fan. We talked about this when we were in Hawaii over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Mrs. Monty and I went out to the Dole pineapple plantation.
Dole.
Had the Dole Whip dip cone.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going. Dairy Queen, is there a Dairy Queen around here?
I mean, look, I don't know.
I don't think there's are there Dairy Queens in Utah?
The last time I was at a Dairy Queen was in Phoenix.
Is there a Dairy Queen in Utah? There has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Closest Dairy Queen to us is going to be West Jordan.
So are there many of them?
There's 4 in the valley.
Wow. Well, maybe when I'm going to the Advocates on Monday for the blood drive, don't forget Advocates doing a blood drive in Murray Monday, 1 to 7, giving away gift cards. Obviously, you're going to get all the snacks you want. redcrossblood.org. Use the promo code Advocates SLC. Donate blood Monday, 1 to 7 at the Advocates office in Murray. I don't know. I'm not a big ice cream guy though.
Yeah, it's heavy on the stomach.
Yeah, I don't drink, you guys may know this. I don't drink milk. I rarely eat cheese. We had a huge argument on the show about this. Are eggs dairy? I eat eggs. I had 3 eggs for dinner last night. Amazing. But I don't drink milk. I use almond milk. Oh, Monty, that's disgusting.
Nut milk, man.
Monty likes his nut milk. I drink almond milk. I do not generally. We had some Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches the other weekend.
Dude, you can never go wrong with those, bro.
Fantastic.
So good.
Fantastic. But that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to eat dessert, my wife went to an International Women's Day celebration, and she brought home these, I can't remember what, it's the Flake.
Okay.
I think it's called. Was like a cherry turnover pop tart thing that was amazing. Honestly, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge ice cream guy.
Yeah.
What's your and in the comments section, what's your go-to dessert?
All-time go-to dessert would be butter cake from Mastro's.
Oh, I don't hate that.
Again, I'm not a huge ice cream guy, but I am a sucker for
Vanilla
warm, melty substance with vanilla bean ice cream. So whether that's butter cake or whether that's
warm, melty substance,
yogurt, a cream-filled donut of some kind, or chocolate cake. You will not have to ask me twice to eat chocolate cake.
Newest member of the show, it's fair.
Go.
Big week in Rock Chalk Country. It's fair. Good to have you on the showroom. Thanks for being a member again. Let's see. Brandon Butler says pie, warm, fresh, moist pie.
Yeah, you see what I mean? And then you put the cold, ice cream there and you're bomb.
Let's see. It's fair. Credit card expired, and this is the thanks YouTube gives me. There you go.
Okay.
Big Daddy Magic. There's one on 35th South. Really?
Okay.
Lobes fan Gabe. Peanut butter cup blizzard is goated.
Okay. I'm with you, bro.
Jake is all about that.
I'm with you.
Stepanek dip cones are the best. They're so good. You guys, if you get to Oahu, go to the Dole Plantation. It was so worth it. Yeah. The Dole Whip cone was dipped in chocolate.
Also, I'm a big fan of the cookie dough blizzard too. I'm a big cookie dough guy.
Little Jizzy says there's one on Redwood Road in West Jordan. Okay, so they are out. That's how little I have. Yeah. Let's see. UW fan Jim, the Royal New York Strawberry Cheesecake Blizzard. Oh my God, that sounds good. That sounds really good. Let's see. There is Tahiti Kind. There is a DQ in Orem on 800 North.
Okay.
So they're in Utah County too. Okay. I'm here.
We're gonna ask Retzloff about this tomorrow.
Stepanek, I ate at Dairy Queen yesterday in Salina, Kansas. Did you really? Let's go. I like it. Maury Alvarez. Yes, there is, but go to Iceberg.
Iceberg is gas.
What is Iceberg?
Iceberg is a hole in the wall place. They put out shakes that are JCW size, like
Oh my
big
God.
ass, like.
I'm not kicking a JCW shake out of bed, by the way.
Yeah, Iceberg is very JCW's, but it's a little lower cash than JCW's.
Burger boys know how to make a shake.
Yeah.
The eye patch, Paces Dairy and in Bountiful. I miss the rainbow. They're rainbows. Okay. I like it. Let's see who else. Ron Nolan, a skinwalker is a shape-shifting witch from the Navajo stories.
Right. Stay with us.
Do they eat Dairy Queen? That terrifies me.
Yeah, I'm good.
I believe in it. I know. I can't say it too loud. Mrs. Monty will. She'll divorce my ass. She'll drive away in the new Beamer without me.
Why don't you fuck off?
That's what. Marge? You guys know that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wild. Mike Smith. Simple but good. The DQ Dilly Bar.
The Dilly Bar.
Okay.
Is that a euphemism?
Dilly.
Eggs are boneless chicken dinners.
Wow.
See what that's an egg.
It's all about the roosters, huh? It's all
Shooter,
about the
Texas.
eggs.
Are eggs dairy? Who the hell would argue that? Eggs are not dairy. Good Lord. Dude, don't start. Please, God.
How many holes are in a straw?
Don't start. Don't. Hey, man. Lopes fan Gabe here. I'm just curious, Monty. Is cereal soup?
Is a quesadilla a sando?
Lopes rolled into the comments section one day and asked if cereal is soup.
Oh, what are you talking about, man?
Yes, banana cream pie. Yes, pistachio pudding. Ooh. Yes, I read that one already. Wasikowski, Monty likes the white water nut milk. Almond milk is amazing. Giggity, all-time dessert is not family show appropriate. Okay, cherry pie. Pecan pie with vanilla ice cream. Yes, hit the like button. Please do. Katie Rader, pew pew. Cheesecake.
Yeah, cheesecake is a different level of good. Yeah.
Tough to beat.
Yeah.
Annie, I'm not a candy or sweets guy, but love me some cheesecake. I'm not a big candy or sweets guy either. Yeah, me a Snickers bar. I'm knocking that down all day.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about dessert, man, it's tough to beat.
Bro, it is dumping. Like there's a window right here.
Is it really?
It's like a window well. And it's snowing down into the window well.
Oh wow, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's snowing. Why, man? I'm over it, dude. I'm done with. I'm telling you right now, I'm just flipping done with it.
Yeah,
I'm done with it. I'm ready to not be in cold rain. Like in Utah, we have a rain snow event.
we call them events.
Why? And now we have like a wind event for.
Oh, Monty, it's going to be 20 degrees and windy. So when you tee off at 2:00, make sure you play the fade.
Stepanic, Fat Boy ice cream. I buy those at Sam's Club. Yes. Lil Jizzy, Jake loves cream filling.
That's
does.
right. Yeah.
Shooter, Texas. My wife's homemade pecan pie or buttermilk pie with a scoop of ice cream. Best in the world.
Boom.
I love it. Maury Alvarez, our great Floridian. Love the cheesecake, particularly key lime cheesecake.
Boom.
Little limoncello too.
Yeah.
Cake is overrated.
Dude, bro.
It can be.
Can you not?
It can be.
Like, butter cake is not overrated, bro. Butter cake is solid.
Ron Nolan, apple pie a la mode. Can never go wrong.
Yes.
Never. Katie Rader, greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray. How do you say no? How do you say no? Wasikowski, key lime pie cheesecake half and half. Okay. Tres leches. Ooh. Again. Raspberry cheesecake. Yes. Salina, Kansas. Only way you can believe someone has been to Kansas is if they drop Salina in a conversation. That's what I'm saying. Boston Mapes. Give the raspberry shake from Bear Lake Baby.
Okay.
7800 South in Redwood next to Vaza. There is a DQ there. Oh, I guess there is. Near J Taffa. I guess there is.
Also, can we just point out the fact that we're quickly approaching 100,000 subs on this
Yeah,
channel?
where are we? Somebody yesterday was like, "You guys only have 75,000." I'm like, "Yeah, only." We're at 76,730.
300 subs during the show.
Love that.
Let's go, baby.
Love that. Appreciate you guys. Sean Finnerty. Whoa, up here. I just lost a lot of respect for you guys.
Oh, please enlighten us. What does he have to say?
The Republicans are the cause of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, not the Democrats. Well, who said otherwise?
I don't remember us explicitly saying the Democrats were at fault
Who
or
said
the
that?
Republicans were at fault.
You know, the problem is, this is the conversation. They're all at fault.
Yeah.
They're all at fault. It's not Republicans or Democrats. Become an American. Become an American. Enough bullshit, Democrat, Republican.
Yeah.
Become an American.
Yeah.
Vote for your neighbor. Vote for yourself. Vote for your family. We've gotten to this place in this country where we don't care about the guy next to us, whether we're driving a car or standing in a ballot box.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are we talking about? Oh, Glenn, pineapple upside down cake out of my oven. Phenomenal. I do love me. Pineapple anything is tough to beat. It is. You know what, Caleb? Can't watch the cryptid shows on History Channel without your hair standing up.
Dude, seriously.
Ain't wrong. Eric and Raleigh, time to move back to Arizona. No, because all my friends in Arizona are like, "Hey, Monty, you enjoy that golf. We'll be locked inside our air-conditioned homes all summer." Too hot.
Yeah, I'm not interested in 70, 80 days over 110, dude.
Chuck B, can't eat ice cream anymore. A part of me died that day. Yeah, Chuck. Seriously.
Stuff, bro.
I don't eat much. What did I have? What did I eat yesterday? A bowl of oatmeal. I'm going to have another one this morning. I eat steel cut oats, raw whole oats with blackberries, a teaspoon of peanut butter, and some original maple syrup. Lunch yesterday, I had sweet potatoes and ground turkey. Dinner last night, I had 3 eggs and ground turkey. That's what I eat most of the time. Helps me stay thin. Had a great back workout at the gym last night. Jack, can I tell you how difficult it is to go to the gym at 5:30 in the afternoon? I'm not interested.
Huh.
And my saint of a wife yesterday goes to she's training for this triathlon next month in Hawaii. She's doing a mini sprint triathlon with her sister. And my wife is responsible for the 1 mile ocean swim. So she's got to be training in the pool. So she goes to do the pool. I did a back workout. I was stretching. I did some I'm making progress on my knee. I don't have an ACL on my left knee. And, sometimes you wake up and your knee's like, "Hey, dude, fuck off." Right? And it just, I'm making progress though. My knee feels good.
How busy is it?
Packed.
Yeah.
Packed.
Yeah.
There's a new EOS Fitness that's supposed to open any day. They need to open that gym. Because you can't even get you can't get a flat bench press. You can't get dumbbells. You can't get, and admittedly, I had a great cable workout. I did a bunch of oblique stuff for golf with a kettlebell, and I did some kettlebell swings, and you can't get a good workout in at that time.
Yeah.
Going to be around 70 the next couple of days round here.
Yeah.
Nice. Love that. That sounds so good. It does. Let's see. You know damn well, Monty, you're going to vote for Biden because that's the right thing to do.
Bro, why are you so mad?
I don't know why you're so mad.
What is your deal, man?
Oh, Mr. Preston, homemade raspberry ice cream all day. I think raspberry anything is undervalued.
Yeah.
Raspberry preserves, raspberry anything. So good. But no, I'm not doing it. Ninja Dancer Fisher. That means more ice fishing for me. Who
the fuck is that guy?
There you go. Dakota Tubbs. It's fair. They play game 3 of the series at Kauffman Stadium next Tuesday.
What are we talking about?
Okay. That's fine. Chris Chipman. The Democrats destroy the country and now it's we all did it. No,
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's not hard to understand what we're saying, bro. It's not Dems or Republicans, man.
Who destroyed the country?
Jesus, man.
We all did.
Like,
we all did. The Democrats didn't do it. The Republicans didn't do it. Donald Trump didn't do it. We did it. Mike Smith, whoever wins will end up being Reagan in his second term with early onset dementia. You're not wrong.
You're not even joking.
Do you guys understand that both of our major presidential candidates from the party, the Democrat and the Republican, are both so old that they're having trouble speaking clearly? They're so old that both of our presidential candidates cannot put sentences together. Let that sink in. We're the ones who did it. Not them. We are the ones who did it. Stop like we've got to take responsibility for our own actions and inactions. And again, you want to fix our political system? Vote for your mayors. Vote for your council people. Vote for your state senators and Congress people. Vote for your governors. Vote in your local elections. That's how you fix it.
Yeah.
Stop voting for fucking Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's not funny. It's not. Stop voting for Aaron Rodgers. We need like real leadership. We need people who can. Do you understand that guys like Ted Cruz are not real leadership? Guys like Lindsey Graham are not real leadership. They're selfish. They are money grubbers. They are career politicians.
Yes.
We need people. Anyway, raspberry jam and peanut butter jelly time.
That's right.
There you go. There you go. I like it. There you go. Giggity. Those damn skinwalkers ruin the country.
I know, dude. The shape-shifting witches.
You know, I'm just saying. I hope we get to a point where we can have like normal conversations about politics on this show again. Because you just can't.
No.
Look at today. How many comments are the Republicans, the goddamn Democrats, fucking Trump, damn Biden. We're so divided as a that's why we don't. When's the last time we had like a hardcore political conversation on this show? You know why we don't do it very often? Almost never. Because stuff like this happens. I've lost a lot of respect for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll see you tomorrow, dude.
It's wild to me. The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Their blood drive is next Monday, 1 to 7 at their Murray location. Their office in Murray. Hook it up. redcrossblood.org. We really need you guys to show up, support the Advocates. It helps a lot in our communities. If you are not a Utahn, if you're one of our great Phoenicians, our Texans, our Angelinos, hello, Florida, all of our Floridians, redcrossblood.org. Use the sponsor code ADVOCATESSLC. Come see us. We'll be there. We'll be there on Monday night giving blood. Advocates in Murray. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.